comparing fractions. You don't have to write this. I'm just writing it so you guys can see it in the video. Okay, so let's do, I'm just going to go through this whole page in our packet, okay? So number 1. Okay, so grab another. Problem solve. So we're going to compare, number 1, we're going to do 3/4, and we're going to compare that to 3/8. So on your whiteboard, my friends at home, do you have your whiteboards or paper to work this out on? Okay, I want to see them. Okay, but what I want to see you do first is you have to find a common denominator. So remember, our denominators are 4 and 8. We got to make them have the same denominator. Okay? The easiest way to kind of do it is to change the smallest one. So what's smaller, the 4 or the 8? 4. So we're going to change 3/4. So somehow I have to do 3/4. It has to have an 8 as the denominator. So last week we did a whole bunch of practice on equal fractions. So how do I go from 4 to 8? Times 2. So whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So I'm going to multiply the 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay. So 3/4 has now become 6/8. So now we are comparing 6/8 versus 3/8. We are comparing 6/8 versus 3/8. Because now they have the same what? Denominator. So which one's bigger or greater? 6/8. Okay? 6/8. Okay, I'm going to skip to number 3 in our math packet. We have 1/5 and we're comparing it to 4/20. So your first step is to find a common denominator. Go ahead and see if you can figure that out on your own. You got to have the same denominator. And remember, it's always easier to change the one that's the smaller number. So if you're looking at these two denominators, which one's going to be the easiest to change, the 20 or the 5?
The 5.
Okay, go ahead and do that on your whiteboard.
Miss Brunel, what if they're both the same?
If they both have the same denominator?
No, if they're both the exact same.
No, if they're both the same fraction.
Oh, then what would you put?
Equal.
Yeah. So how do you get from 5 to 20?
Times 2.
Times 2.
Oh, wait, times 4.
Times 4. So whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. What's 1 times 4? 4. Ooh, so this is what Aaron was saying, guys. The new fraction that we have up here is 1/5 turned into 4/20. So they're going to be equal or equivalent. Good job, Christian. let's move to number 4 in our packet. So we have 2/10 and we're comparing it to 23/100. So our two denominators are 10 and 100. Which one's going to be easy for you to change? 10. The 10, okay. So somehow you have to figure out 2/10 equals, how do you make that hundreds?
Times 10.
Times 10. Perfect, Bentley. So 2 times 10 is going to be 20. So we have 20 hundredths and 23 hundredths. What's the symbol I put in the box?
Equal.
23 hundredths is greater, right?
Yeah, because they have more.
Yep, so I'm going to put a less than symbol because 20 hundredths is less than 23 hundredths. Noah, go ahead. So when I'm asking you to show your work on your packet, this is what I mean. I want you to show me that you figured out the common denominator on them. Okay. I'm going to go to number 6. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready for 6. Okay. So let's talk about our denominators. What are they? 12 and 6. Which one do you want to, which one are we going to change? 6. Okay. So 5, 6 equals, we have to change it to what number? 12. They have to have the same denominator. How do we go from 6 to 12? Times 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. So our new fractions is 7/12 and 10/12. Which one's greater? 10/12. Okay. This is how you show your work. It's basically taking what we started last week when we're talking about finding equal fractions and just applying it one step more. Okay?
So you're saying that's what you mean by show your work on the other page?
Yep.
Cut your work.
Okay. Let's skip down to... let's go to number 7. Colin, what's my two denominators for number 7? 42 and 6. Which one are we going to change, Colin?
6.
Okay. I'm going to make 5, 6, have 42 as a denominator. On your whiteboard, show me this equal fraction. What is this equal fraction going to be? Show me on your whiteboard. To 42, Bentley says that we multiply by 7. So what's 5 times 7? 35. So our two fractions that we're comparing now is 35/42 and 35/42. So what goes in our box? Equal. They're both the same. let's skip down to number 10. Actually, we'll do 8. We'll do 8 together. We already did 8 in our notes when we were talking about the halfway point. But let's do it finding common denominator. So 102, which is going to be the easiest to change? 2. So 1/2, we need to make that have a denominator of 100. 2 times what gets me 100? 50. So whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the... Awesome. 1 times 50 is... Okay. So the two numbers we're comparing is 53 hundredths with 50 hundredths. Which one's greater? 53. Good. Okay, do you want to do, which one do you want to do? 10, 11, or 12?
10, 11, and 12.
Well, let's go with 11. We need to make them have the same denominator, so are we going to change the 5 or the 100? 5. 4/5 equals something 100. How do you go, Annabelle, how do you go from 5 to 100? Times 20. So 4 times 20 gives us 80. So now we have 80 hundredths and 77 hundredths. Which one's greater? 80. Okay. The first step is you always have to make both of the numbers have a common denominator. Awesome. The last one I'll do with you is number 15. We have 2/3 and 3/6. This one's kind of easy. We're both going to make them have the same denominator of. Do we change the 3 or the 6? 3. So 2/3 is equal. It's got to have a denominator of 6. So how do we go from 3 to 6? Times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So what are the two fractions we're comparing now?
4, 6, and 3, 6.
Good. 4/6 and 3/6. Which one's greater? 4/6. This means that if you had 6 pieces, right? 6 pieces, and let's say you ate 4 of the 6 of them, that would be greater than eating 3 of them. Okay? So remember, the first step is that you have to find the common denominator by making it an equal fraction. And then once you have the same denominator, it's easier to compare. Okay?